So Chizzy, man, kind of want to open this up. I know
Hmm.
I'm still on the afterglow of kind of like, King Khan, like this mission
Hmm.
and all that we're trying to do. Bro, I feel like yesterday was, I don't know if I call it like confirmation that what
Mm.
we're doing is the right thing. I um I did my TED talk yesterday. Guess what my
Okay.
title was?
Guess what your title was?
Yeah. And the
Obviously, some to do with the work that we're endeavoring to do.
facts, bro. So it was the necessity of mature masculinity.
Mhm. Yo, I've had so many conversations this week with friends, with family members, just around that particular topic. Getting my own confirmations about certain things,
Mhm.
things that I've experienced myself, this
Mhm.
journey that I continue to take, revelations, just in having real conversations with friends, some of my brethren that lead me down this path. That this is we're on the right track, bro. We're
Yeah.
definitely on the right track.
And somebody
Definitely.
had pointed out to me yesterday, that's like, Chris, you've been on this, man. Your platform, Boy Man King. You talked about the rites of passage in your TED talk. It was just like I kind of like saw my heart of the work that I really want to do from a ministry perspective to like just pure the work you want to see done, the conversations you want to see have, just on helping people, not even on some, yeah, let me brand myself, yeah, let me make some money, let's develop this program. It's strictly just like we built Boy Man King. I did that TED talk because I thought about like if I'm going to put something on that TEDx platform
Yeah.
that may last forever or people could go on like if I leave, like I know I left something where people can be like, okay, that was valuable to
Yeah.
humanity, right? So it
Yeah.
was just a confirmation, a validation, like just on so many levels, like, hey yo, we doing the right thing, we having the right conversation because so many people was adamant about talking to me, so needed. They even gave my wife some context. And here's the thing, this topic, it's both genders feel it, all races feel it, all
Yeah.
ages feel it. It's not even like it's not like it's a particular group.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's something that everybody's feeling, but don't know what to do with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that's so again, it's not like and I don't want to seem like we know what's going on and we got our finger in the pulse and we've had it for a long time, but you know, it's obvious, and what we do and what we're endeavoring to do is 100% stuff that we know is necessary. And because nowadays we know that this is a hot button issue, and this is
Mhm.
something that's culturally relevant in terms of there's always trends of stuff that we experience as a community, as a culture, as a nation, as a world, and we obviously recognize even historically the deficits that our community face as a result of man not being in a healthy space. I did a post when he coached the other last week about a statistic that said that between 75 to 80% of suicides and attempted suicides are in males under the age of 50. And when you think about that culturally, so I was talking to a friend and he was like, yeah, it's just one of those, it's a crutch that people use, this mental health window. It's just something that, that people are just paying attention to. No, but I'm saying, bro, if you look at just that statistic alone, that's a reflection. So we we know that therapeutically, women are more likely to be a lot more in tune with their emotional space, whether it be therapy, whether it be massages, whether it be their time. And so when you look at a statistic like that, and that's just one of many, clearly it's obvious that something is going on with the male, like you said, not specific to black males, not specific to black Christian males. It's
Come on.
specific to males across the board. If
Mm.
75 to 80% of suicide thoughts and attempts are by males, that's a striking statistic if you really, really break it down. And although the community recognizes these deficits, and we recognize that a lot of stuff going on within the family unit, within the community is directly related to removing the males out of the household, it's still somewhat um, a new phenomenon to
Mm.
certain people, even though we've been doing this work for a long time, we've been having this conversation for a long time, and we recognize these deficits in the work that we've done, the team Street Safe and Youth on the Move and Impact. But again, we don't need that validation. And I hear what you're saying in terms of it's nice to know that we're on the right track, but we knew we've been on the right track. And this is not a cocky thing. This is just us being in tune and having a pulse for what is necessary and stuff that we've experienced just through our own journey that's aligned with what we know God has called us to do. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's a wonderful feeling because for some of us, like some of us stand on this pinnacle and say, you know, we're talking because we've experienced it and we've seen the other side of what mental health looks like, or the other side of personal development or spiritual development looks like. But for some of us, myself included, we're still continuing to transition and go through these experiences and have these psychological components that still need to be either shifted or addressed or augmented while we're continuing to do the work. So that's the joy for me, to be able
Mm.
to sit in a space, be, attach myself to strong, educated, spiritual men, and still be able to know that, and I'm experiencing this just as much as I'm advocating for this. And so that's a
Mm.
blessing for me, you know what I mean, to be able to have that experience. So, shout out to the Boy Man King team, shout out to the prayer line, shout out to all those people who've been instrumental, not just advocating for this space, but have been helpful and really, really taking a stand for what we know we need as a community, as it relates to men's health.
Yeah, and I thank you for articulating, because I think you not only speak for yourself, Chizzy, but most people, and particularly men. Let's speak with men. Let's stay there. Like, we're doing the thing as we're learning the thing. You know what I mean? In
Yes.
every aspect of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people, though, that could be overwhelming. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, they have certain support, they have certain information, they have certain expectations, they got certain pressures. Like, it's like a culmination that ends up crockpot. And some people go left to the anger, and other people go right to the alcohol, weed, and womanizing. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on, if I'm overwhelmed, I'm gonna cope either way. I'm just going to get mad, or I'm going to get sad and go do some things to just kind of cope. And so what I was highlighting was like all the work we've done, man. But when I finish, I never forget when I finished my work with Impact, and
Yeah.
we did that rites of passage experience, and I was just like, yo, this is it. Like, you in programs, we did gang intervention, we did community intervention, we
Yeah.
did spiritual intervention with the local churches.
Yeah.
We did education intervention with kids who were challenged, but
Mm-hmm.
watching a community support and watching households support fathers and sons getting on the same page for their families, even if the father was incompetent, negligent, inconsistent, it didn't matter. It was like, okay, I went through what I went through, but I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have a rites of passage. I didn't have a community of initiated men, but my son does.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just they went through that experience, but it was watching the fathers like get so emotional over the weekend, like, yo, I can't believe I'm getting to share this experience with my son. So much so, we had two elders, and one of the elders had a 30-some-year-old son. And he was like, does an age matter? I want to go through this with my son. Because he was one of the watchmen of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know what I mean? So it was just like, as men was going through the 3-day experience for the particular 5 boys and their fathers, the other 15 men was like, okay, I'm supporting all the workshops that we're doing,
Yeah.
but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm processing like, yo, to be honest with you, even me and my adult son, I would love for us to share this type of experience together. And that's like the aha that everybody's getting, like, yo, we are really missing. And so I was highlighting the book, Rediscovering the Male Archetypes by Robert Moore and Douglas Collette,
Yeah.
that highlights kind of the philosophy and approach behind why Impact was created. it was talking about, man, we surveyed all the men across the world. And the biggest piece that was missing to help men embrace, to help men mature in their masculinity was a meaningful rites of passage into manhood in their respective community. And when I experienced it, when I went through it, and we took them through the weeks of prep, we talked to the mother and the father, and everybody wasn't married. Some people had blended families, some people was divorced. Like it wasn't no nuclear perfect situation. I think only one child was like that, but they all understood we need to do what's best for our son and this young man so that he can be the best version of himself. And then we got to have a conversation about for the next 20 years, what does that look like for him? You know,
Right.
not just let's get through high school, right? Some of our cultures, let's get through school, go get a job, let's get through college, figure out your life. But this was a conversation, okay, for our family, you being the masculine ambassador, this is what it looks like for our family for the next 20 years. And as the father figure of the family, I'm going to support you. I'm going to nurture you. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to be doing the fathering in this next phase of your life. And man, that is yeah, it was just like all the work, all the platforms, all the stuff we did. It was like it was a huge culmination
Good.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I'm excited for when it comes out on YouTube, man. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do Boy Man King's gonna host a watch party for when the TED Talk comes out, man.
That
Because
sounds good. That sounds
yeah.
good. We're gonna try to figure that out. We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna figure that out for
I know
sure.
we talk about it, but a lot of people don't know that they talk about the King Conference and the Boy Man King, but they don't know Chisel we did the work really like since I think me and you collectively was doing the work since like '08, '09.
It's been so long. I
And
don't even
then
remember.
it went to Team Street Safe, and then it went to Impact, and now we're doing this together. So we've been in the trenches
Yeah.
doing community work and development work for over 15 years, bro. That's crazy. Together, like actually
Right, and
not
that's
just
together. So that's outside of,
what
we
we
started the
do.
idea with Youth on the Move, building my own nonprofit to support youth and young adults, the stuff that I
Yeah.
did Family Center as it relates to developing homework programs to support middle school kids and helping to, underpin everything that they've done there. So, like you said, it's been a long journey. And honestly, I think we undervalue this experience. Well, we may undervalue this experience as it relates to how other people's experiences, because I believe we were blessed and fortunate to be in those environments. Because what that does, I think it has definitely shifted how we even view males' roles within the community, males' roles within, the greater community, and our roles within our families, and the responsibility now that we have to take all of those years of wisdom and knowledge to now bring it to the masses. And then we have a responsibility to show other men what that looks like, how that looks like, and how we can actually structure it in a way that gives longevity for what we're trying to do. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can't assume that people know. And I think a lot of times, even as a man, and we look at the community, we assume they have the mechanisms and the tools that's necessary to even parent. And it's
Come on.
obvious that some of us do and some of us don't. But I believe that's the ones that do have a responsibility to shepherd the ones that don't. And so obviously that's largely why I continue to do what we do. Not, again, it's not braggadocious. It's not to say that we have all the answers, that we know what's going on, but it speaks volumes the length of time we put in to the capacity we have to really really help to drive this thing in the direction that we know it should be taken in. So
But I want to double down on what you brought up because I think this is the critical piece for men. If all men was listening, like, okay, what's like the main thing we should be doing? And I think our own example, bro, taking responsibility. Like, what's my favorite quote that I love to say is, "Hey, how your situation is, how
careful,
she
but
is, yeah, how your kids are. Like, that's not your fault, but there is your responsibility." And I feel like we took a responsible charge to create a platform to
mm-hmm.
educate and empower what men need, what that looks and feels like from multiple examples of so many men now by creating the King Conference and
Yeah.
taking that responsibility to have certain conversations and have certain information put out there so that people can feel more equipped in this space to do the work that they're responsible for. You know what I
True.
mean? And I think, but we don't do the work if our mindset is not to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And we can't, and I always go back to like, let's put the cards on the table. You got a man, and you're part of this. Let's say you,
Hmm.
a woman, and a child. Who do you want between the three of them to take responsibility for manhood, take responsibility for family, take responsibility for community development, take responsibility for the children? Like if you had a choice, take all your emotions out, and you had you, a woman, and a child. I said, man, like if you know you're mature, you're masculinity, when you're like, look, I don't know what she has or don't have. I don't know what the child, I'm gonna take responsibility to step in and do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And I look at when I reflect on how all this brought full circle for me personally, Chizzy, was that what my dad did. You
Yeah.
know, he was 45 years old. He raised 6 kids. He went to an orphanage to see his sister because she didn't show up to the family reunion because she couldn't get off of work. So in his mind, he's like, I only see y'all once a year. On my way back home, I'm gonna stop by her job to say hi. He goes and says hi. Him and my mom get there. He has to use the bathroom. I'm a brand new baby in the back room by the bathroom, sweating
Mhm.
and hollering. He lets her know that I'm back there. He cussed my Aunt Bertha now. She's passed away, but she cusses him out. Then my mom goes back and uses the bathroom before they leave, and she picks me up. And then she cusses her out for picking me up because like that's kind of what they do in orphanage when they got a bunch of babies. Let them
Yeah.
self-soothe, let them cry it out because I can't pick up a baby every
Right.
single time they holler. I'll be having babies in my arms all day. So my dad just said in the moment, man, I want him. Like just like that, bro. 45 years old, finally an empty nester, raised 6 kids, no conversation with his wife, just in a moment's notice, like I want him. And I really do believe subconsciously he downloaded a lot of that. Hey, I don't know all the situation. Hey, I know, but when it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do. And you just do the right thing.
Yeah. The
Uh,
responsibility. The responsibility drives a lot of that.
yeah,
Facts.
but he can't even begin to see all this through if he personally don't take responsibility. So I say to us as men, like, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be your fault. You're not going to always know. You're not going to always have results. But if you continue to take the perspective, the stance of, well, look, I'm gonna take responsible almost everything that's everyone that's in my world and do the best I can. And it's when you look back that you're like, man, because even me, I'm being reflective now in my 40s. Like, I
Hmm.
didn't take on all my responsibilities in my early 20s to say, like, look at me now. I took on all the responsibility with resentment. I was scared. I was lonely. I was tired. I didn't know a lot. I didn't have a lot of resources. But when I did vent to a couple men, which one was my father, one was my Uncle Ryan, I always share this. They both told me, like, hey, you in your young 20s, but when you married that woman and had that child, you made your choices. And then my Uncle Ryan told me I was complaining about being a father and doing laundry at the laundromat at 5 o'clock in the morning, only to drop that off to go drop my baby off to daycare. And
You
he was
still
just
have to go to work, didn't it? Still have to go to work.
and go straight to work and make it on time. He was like, it's called being an adult. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, you want me to like make
Like,
like,
what
you
are
know
you
what I'm
crying
saying?
for,
Like
bro? That's
now, but it was like I had to be, but I did have to be a little tougher in my
yeah.
20s. You know what I mean? So it's like when I look at men now and I look at where they are, what they have, and how they move, did they have my dad in their ear? Did they have an Uncle Ryan
I was gonna
in their
say because a
did
lot
they
of
have it in
times,
critical moments, or did they have a brethren or a
right?
cousin or a homeboy to be like, man, shoot, bro, you doing what? Not me. You couldn't
Yeah.
have me out there. And then
Right.
now that got you in your head, making up a story and creating a narrative to make you like go back and be selfish when we need men. We literally need men to be
Hmm.
responsible. And the government don't care. Bro, the government just said, I don't know if you saw this, bro. The US just passed a law. All 18 to 26-year-olds in America qualify for the draft of the war. They just
Know
sent,
that conscription.
I saw
Yeah.
that,
Know that.
they just sent in Louisiana 1,000 tanks. People were spooked out. They got on the train, bro. Somebody should put this on YouTube. They got like hundreds of tanks getting ready to be shipped somewhere, bro. Military war tanks, like the big, huge tanks. They got them on assembly line, like we finna get ready to go to war. So it's like,
And
bro, like
a
the
lot,
government say, hey, let's sign the women and children. They're like 18 to 26-year-olds. Y'all sign up whether you want to or not. And that's life though. So the reason
right.
why men are really willing to kill themselves because they're so overwhelmed more than women, because we have, if this don't work, and we don't be like, protect the women and children, take care of yourself, respect and respond to your community. Like that's the only way this really works in any respective community. If a community keeps existing, if it keeps thriving, keep growing, it's because the men collectively have took responsibility for that community.
Sure, sure. Or to the inverse, if it starts to not to grow and it starts to die, and you see, a lot of high risk behaviors, and you see, a lot of antisocial behavior, it's because, like you said, the
Women,
contrary is
women,
taking
women
place.
get yeah, women getting jacked and robbed before they open the door, getting raped and trafficked, and you know what I mean, like women, the children getting trafficked. That's because men are just not on they. Then they like, well, so every man, every woman for themselves.
I think it's all
A woman's not getting a mace, a gun, a pinch of their person, putting in a security system for no children and for no other women. They're doing
yeah.
it for men who are not initiated, men who are not mature, men who don't take responsibility. And we never beat up men like that. But I'm just saying, it is a true necessity for us to have a rites of passage to help men transition into the mature masculinity to take on these responsibilities that sometimes can be overwhelming for one person.
Sure, and I also believe that there's a responsibility not just for men but for women as well to understand how vital and important it is to support these endeavors as well, because make no, in our communities we see that a lot of broken families or split families or divorced families or women and men who have to co-parent, a lot of these struggles that a lot of men face is because they're not in tune, or the relationship is fragmented with their children's mom. And so not only do we have to say, all right, men need to step up and men need to be responsible and men need to now take their place within the community, but I believe there's also an advocacy piece that's necessary to break those boundaries that are now placed to pit men against women. I think a lot of that has to come from a woman's voice. It can't be a man saying, "Hey, well, you women need to really, really support the endeavors of men or understand a lot." And so even us, I know the conversation you and I have had and the stuff that we're now starting to talk about, it's important to include that female voice, to have a
Right.
female perspective, so that we can now start to reshift the narrative. So there's a unified voice saying, hey, yes, we recognize that we're operating at a deficit. We also recognize that it's not solely the man's, it is his responsibility, but it's not solely his fault either. A lot of the
Mhm.
stuff that plays out in our community has a lot to do with the relationships with the women in our lives, with the exes in our lives, even with the wives in our lives of those brothers who are struggling in those areas. And I think it's important to highlight that, because again, if we function in isolation and say this early man, specifically for men, although we recognize that it's necessary, we're gonna ostracize a whole side of the community, because personal development, social development also is influenced by the women that also
Yeah.
have a role to play within the grand scheme of things. So I think it's important that we also recognize and start to now make that shift,
Yeah.
because if we don't, now we have a whole cross section of initiated men who now will still be banging their heads against the wall trying to have certain conversations and get certain outcomes from women, and it's still not happening because
Yeah.
we ostracize them, we fail to include them in the conversation, and even in terms we fail to include them in a new way forward, so to speak. So
Yeah. I so grateful for my wife. Um, so grateful for just like the talent and presence that she is. But it blew me away when we was having a recording last year, and we
mhm.
took the staff out, and Deanne, my wife, came with us, and we
Yeah,
was
that's good.
all at the dinner, and they didn't know about a man and the war and the little boy and the monster
The monster,
and the
yeah,
God
yeah.
complex. And I was like, oh, that's like. I'm like, even my loving, caring, supportive wife, and Deanna, who's a therapist and helping people, like these people are clinically helping people, certified people. She's been in a relationship for 20 plus years with one man. Still didn't really know that, man, this thing is a war that's going on every single day. And I'm trying to manage that thing within, you know. And it's like women don't really have it now. They have their own challenges with, you know, how their body's wired, what they're dealing with. But there's this other thing that we're dealing with that only men can relate. So
Yeah.
that's why what led us to say we got to have conversation with women, because separate from, hey man, do we have chemistry and do we have compatibility and can we compromise and can we commit? There's a whole separate
Yeah.
awareness education to be like, here's what I'm warring with every day of my life.
Right.
So as you putting on whatever expectations you have of me, I don't know how well I am depending on the day, depending on what I'm dealing with, of how I'm even battling the self within myself. That's so the reason why men kill themselves 4 times more than women, and the reason why men kill other people 10 times more than women, because we're losing the battle within ourselves. So for
Yeah.
somebody to dismiss mental health, it's just somebody who's being ignorant, because it's like, how do I talk to a woman when she don't have wet dreams?
No.
Like she don't wake up with the testosterone high every single morning, ready to have sex every single morning. So it's
Hmm.
like, well, I want to be sensitive to her. I don't want to go to other forms of release because that turns into other
Yeah.
destructive behaviors. I don't want to get into other medias. I don't want to get into other women. So I have to do some self-talk, some self-regulation, or I have to do some, hey, listen, I got these type of needs, but I understand you're not in a position like it's all this that's going on in your head, trying to manage
Right.
yourself. You're not even trying to talk about work
Right.
or
I think before you even
with your
step outside
marriage.
the house.
Yeah, like you people think about like, bro, that's like I'm still doing a fight, daily fight, and women and children just like having their fun, watching their shows, doing it. They're clueless to,
Yeah.
oh, every hour on the hour you do it's a fight going on in you. It's like, yeah, and a wise woman helps to say, baby, they know how to put their hand on your back, their hand on your chest, their kiss on your cheek, those wise words to release that, to ease that, to take and take care of for the moment, take care of for the day, so that your mind can be eased. So you can be relaxed, so that you can be more present, so you can meet and see her needs. You know what I mean? But we don't have enough conversation with men to be like, I mean, with women to
Yeah.
understand, like, yo, you're doing that every hour on the hour. That's crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's why a lot of men, you kind of have to pick and choose what woman you confide in, because this thing is
Right.
kind of hot and heavy for you to get it. Because someone would be like, that you're a weirdo, or what's wrong with you? Man, you need to figure it out. You need to get a therapist or something. And that just like, okay, well, I can never open up to
Right.
you
I'll shut
about this
down.
again. You know, we was having, and you know, we done had a couple guests, but when Chef Beasley was highlighting, like, yo, I was going through some, I was having wet dreams every single night. Like I
Hmm.
thought something was wrong with me, but his wife was just like, baby, not shaming him, not making him feel some type of way, just recognize, okay, I don't do that. I don't have that. My body's not wired like that. I'm in a whole different, but I'm not going to shame you, because he already feels some type of way to be like,
Of
dang,
course.
I'm in my mid 30s and I'm dealing with this. How do I express this to my wife when that's not her world? But
Hmm.
that's the one person in the world you could be like, well, you could trust her with stuff. She's still gonna hold you down and have your back. So sometimes for us, especially when it comes to something like sex, it's just a way of operation. It's not always like because it determines our love or it determines our affection. It's just like, no, I need to like it is something just for me to wake up and go to sleep and eat and drink water. Like
I was gonna say,
it's in that same realm. It's
same
not
category.
you know what I mean? Where sometimes for women it's like, man, I need friendship, I need connection, I need
Right.
some.
Right. Emotional
Whereas
stability, all of
men, it's
that.
like water and food and
Yeah.
sex,
And sex.
water. So it's like if it's not happening, I have to now figure if I'm not eating or drinking for a long period of time, I have to figure out how to exist, how to. I have to go into spaces unknown unless I just do the trick bag, go to porn, go to strip clubs, go to stuff that just like, oh yeah, everybody who exploits men for that, right? all the websites that exploits men for that because they know men got to get that off. So it's like,
So,
well, you know what I mean? And that's a hard conversation because a lot of times, let's say if you're married, you take it personally. Would you try? You know what I mean? Like, so you know what I mean? If you've been with somebody
you're
intimate,
not satisfied? Like you're
yeah,
not getting enough? Like are
yeah,
you having thoughts about cheating and all that type of stuff comes up? If
yes,
you're not got a self-aware woman that's able to receive what you're saying in a way that doesn't make it about her and her
yeah,
needs and what her deficits may be, and you probably not even talking about none of it. You're not even talking about none of it. You're just talking about your needs as a man.
yeah.
And
That's
that's,
it.
that's it. And so that's really these conversations. So to your point, like when we're sitting there having a conversation at dinner before we recorded, and what's talking, like you said, yo, your wife, y'all been rocking for 20 plus years. And you're
Yeah,
like, and what have there's some revelations that's taking place around that table.
yeah.
And so for me, as a single guy, imagine the beast that has to be managed for a single man who doesn't have the restrictions and all of the even the benefits of having a wife at his disposal to have those conversations to really just help process what I'm feeling and what other people like me are feeling on a date. I remember when we talked with Charles, and Charles was saying, "Look, man, like I just stay home. I just stay in the house because I gotta protect myself from myself, sort of thing. Like, and as a single
Mm,
guy, it's easy to fall back to those bad habits. It's easy to fall
mm.
back on the porn. It's easy to find ways to just get
Bro,
somebody to rub you on your
it
back.
is
Like,
it is
yo,
a it's a big it is a click away,
it's a
literally.
click away. And so those are the struggles that a single guy has to face. So even more reinforces why it's necessary to have accountability for yourself, to have brothers to keep you accountable, to keep your mind and your body spiritually in tune with God's purpose for your life. And so for me, I'm hitting that gym every day, bro, because
Mm,
natural ways to get that testosterone out. You see me work out in the gym
bro, I mean,
has
you
to
be
be
mad.
a productive way, bro.
Yo, my man is mad at them weights, bro. Like when you got an ugly and angry face when you lift weights, I'm like, yeah, my man needs a wife soon, bro. He get so, you know what I mean? I was like,
Facts,
yo,
facts.
my man, he got a bad, angry, and ugly face all at the same time lifting
For
weights.
sure. For sure. So, the struggle is real. And just like
Mm,
you as a married man have to really tune in to what your needs are and openly communicate that to your partner, to your wife. Like I'm still trying to figure out as a single man, how do I keep this beast on the reps? You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And it's $1 million question. And of
yeah,
course, you know, like I said, every day, every hour, every minute, you have thoughts. It's
yeah,
easy to fall back into their old traps.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? So for the brothers that's out there that's struggling, man, I want to give you some encouragement that you're not alone in what you're experiencing.
Come on.
If you're making a decision to live that single life and to honor yourself and honor God and the choices that you're making, do your best to just keep the association of other brothers that's good to the same thing because the struggle is real and it's difficult sometimes when you look because it's not a perfect science. Sometimes you're gonna fall short. That's the reality. You're gonna fall short. But at
Mm,
the end of the day, the attempt to be better is a daily affirmation that you need every day. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, man. So this is all the game that we was given at the King conference. That if you
Yeah.
miss, you feel what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
definitely
Talk
missed a
to
lot, man. You missed a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
one of the parts I love, because this is an undertaking, the podcast, the conference, these things are all like an undertaking. And it's like sometimes it's like life when you have like responsibilities in general. It's like you question, hey man, should I be doing all of this? Should we do this? And it's not until it manifests, and not until you have these moments, and it's not when you have the encounters and the experiences and finally get some feedback for one brother. Because remember, we said, look, if it's just one brother that can get something
yep,
for Man
yep,
King, now we got over 1,000 subscribers. But that King conference, man, to have Nate Evans, to have other brothers speak to me, like Kevin, who flew from Chicago,
yeah,
other brother who came in from Florida. like people that flew in from out the state
Oh,
just to see.
Bermuda.
Oh yeah, like from Bermuda.
Like the
But
response
like
to the music.
fact, your pops flew in, and it's just like when they got there, because a lot of even your pops, and we gonna get to see pops on the
Sure,
platform, but
sure.
they was like, I didn't know what I was coming to. Like, I knew I was like, it was more so some people came on, some people,
Mhm.
most people knew about the platform, they support us, they couldn't wait to see and experience what we talk about in person. But a lot of people didn't know what they was going to experience, particularly the women, and they was just like, yo, this was like, and the consensus is the reason why people want to see us continue to have a live experience to bring everybody together, because there's rarely a platform to talk about what we're talking about.
Sure.
It's not a money bag trick.
Yeah.
It's not relationship goals. Is not investments. It has nothing to do with building your brand. It has everything to do with getting some game on understanding men and and,
Support
and,
each
and
other.
men getting tools to be a better man.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm so grateful. I'm extremely grateful to even be a part. Like you said, we're doing it and we're learning and being
Yeah.
challenged and
Thanks.
being equipped ourselves while we're doing it, which makes it more meaningful as well.
I want to give you your flowers. I mean, I've told you this before, privately and publicly, but I want to continue to give you your flowers for the vision, for Boy Man King, for the work that you endeavor to do. Even though you're my boy, I know you're hard headed. I know it's hard sometimes to communicate with you, but I see your heart, and I know that everything you're endeavoring to do is for the purpose of one, growing man and growing the kingdom. So I want to give you your flowers openly and say, man, good job. I appreciate you being a resource to me, to my family. I just want to shout you out, you and your family out, man. You guys are like an extension of my family as well. But
Mm,
I want to show you some love because we don't often celebrate each other enough. It's cool when you experience this when you stand up on stage and you hear the applause of strangers because that's the environment that you're in and you have that
mm,
expectation. But it's not too often, when you step back and the people that you're intimately in the trenches with um, give you your flowers and exalt you and give you your praise and give you your kudos for the work that you're endeavoring to do. So I'm giving you that love today, post Father's Day, post everything that we've done together. I appreciate you, Michael, and I love you for it.
yeah, man, and thank you. I received that, Chizzy. I gotta give the love back, man. For me, coming to Bermuda in 2005, I think it wasn't even like weeks before I met you.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, less than a year, you're like coming to my wedding.
Mhm.
Never met you for my life. And I never forget, you've always been a trusted brother in my life. Like you have never not been a trusted brother in my life, man. I'm so grateful that because as men, we don't have a lot of men. Like I meet you post college, I'm 22, 23.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember one time, you don't even remember this, but we was on the cruise for my wedding,
Yeah.
and I was in your bathroom, and I think you was like 30. So I'm like 24, 23, but like you're a couple years ahead of me. But I didn't know what it was like as a man to even travel and have toiletries and like just seeing your travel kit and
Mhm.
all the things that a man when from taking like I'm literally a year removed from college, from
Right.
high school, college. So I'm like deodorant,
Yeah. Yeah.
lotion, a toothbrush, and a brush. That's it. And you got like a whole little kit spread. You get in the bag, like it's a whole. I was like, okay, I gotta get my whole situation. I gotta have my own little knapsack for my travel, for my toiletries.
Yeah, man.
And I just remember like it was little things like that by being a brother by example, just being who you are, helped me
Mhm.
mature, helped me with just simple stuff. Like I always tell people, man, a lot of men don't know how to groom. Like, what I mean, that was my daughter was taking shots at CJ, man, that he really needs to put on deodorant now. And I was like, a girl's gonna put pressure on him. Trust me, he gonna start cleaning up. And
Thanks.
he's cleaning, but I was like, these are things that I'm gonna have a conversation with him too. He's going to high school, but like these are things that you kind of like fall into. But even you as a brother, man, like
Mhm.
I remember when we did the work together at Team Street Safe, and I never forget, you had to go to Canada with your family. And I remember like my covering was gone.
Yeah,
I'm always kind of had to be the face of stuff, and I always had to be. But like people don't realize the only reason why movements work is not because of the face. It's because of
sure.
the it's because
Facts.
it's because of the people that you can support to do the work that
Yep,
help you
in the
with the work.
background. Yep.
So you had left, and man, it was like a week. It was 1 week. Chaos was happening in the office. Undermining stuff was going on. I leave the
Remember that.
office. People undermining my authority, and I was just like, "Yo," and I ended up resigning. I ended
Mhm.
up after you left. I ended up resigning less than a year. So I get another job to be a director and executive, and I was like, "Look, there's a hire I gotta have."
Yeah.
I gotta be Che Powell, Chizzy. And I was like, and I literally was like, I knew some of your credentials and qualifications, but I was like, we'll make up a job if we have to, because I need him around that much because the work you do with kids, the work you do with the team, and the trust I can have you as a leader of an organization when I'm giving everything. When we was at that school, you can use my car, you can use
Yeah.
my money,
Yeah.
my kids come, my wife is coming by dropping off food.
Let's
Like
get it done.
people don't realize and I kind of still do it, but when I was in that season, I'm giving you literally
The key to
every
the keys
single
to the
thing I
castle,
have, man.
for
Like
sure.
whatever I have is for this work. And so for me to be that exposed, to be that out there, and got my children involved, got my wife involved, got everything I know involved, and somebody's trying to like be shady on the side or take the rug from under my feet or stab me in the back. I knew I needed you to be like when I'm not there, when I'm not around, when things happen, like somebody to really safeguard. So as a brother, as a friend who been able to trust you, you was always asking like, Crump, man, you travel the world, you got so many people why would you have me on the
Yeah,
platform?
yeah, yeah. I still ask that question.
For boy, man, hey, and man to man, I can trust you to be my brother. I can trust you to have my back. And you've been doing that since day one. And now you're talking about almost 20
And
years.
years,
I ain't
kid.
talking about almost 20 years, man. So for me, it is a pure joy to do this with a brother I love,
Appreciate
a
it.
godfather to my children. You've been at my wedding, you've been at my vow renewal. We got the 20th year coming up in a couple
Yeah.
years.
What's the plan then? We got
Wife,
another cruise?
wife, first I said, look, we're going to Europe for 3 weeks. We're going to every city, every
There
country.
we go.
She was like, nope, we're doing a reunion again. She wants to run it back for the
Okay.
20th. And so 25th, we probably go check out Europe. But for the 20th, she wants to run it back, man. So we're gonna do reunion too for our 20th anniversary, man. We're gonna bring everybody back together. So
Okay.
super, super excited about that, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
man,
gonna be good.
I just want to say thank you because I didn't have a lot. I had no friends when I came to Bermuda, and so I
Yeah.
had three. You,
Damn it.
Damon, and John Lee, and then Jackson had his time with us, whatever. But man, I just want to thank you, bro, for just being a brother that a man can trust to have his back when he's not around, when he don't have everything together, when he don't have a perfect world. You still was always A1, man. So I rate you, bro. Appreciate
Hey,
you.
man, appreciate you too, man. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. You know, a lot of what we do, you and I, is just what we do naturally. You know what I'm saying? We're
Mm,
just blessed to be able to give that to each other, give that to people.
mm.
Um, like we say all the time, whether it's one person or 1 million, and we're going to continue to do what we do and give all the honor and glory to the Father, because without Him, we are nothing. Period. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Yeah, and that's the dope part about this is like people are sitting in on a conversation that we would do whether this was being recorded on YouTube or not. I
yeah,
mean, you have multiple sets on the couch. It's like, yo,
we should
we
just be
should
recording, have
record this,
cameras.
man. We get on that couch together, be like, bro, like, hey, we should have been recording this. Like, this is fire.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
we really care about the space. You know what I'm saying? We really care about the space. We really care about people. We really care about men. And then like, Chizzy, let's keep it a buck. This thing ain't easy. Like
No,
there's no way you could be the man that you're trying to be without help.
bruh, it's
There's absolutely no way.
right. What's the saying? If you want to go alone, you do go together. If you want to go short, you go by yourself, sort of
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's always been something that both of us have endeavored to do. And I feel like the further you climb up that quote unquote successful ladder, the more support you need to keep you grounded, to keep you in the right headspace so that it doesn't become egotistical and you don't start to idolize yourself as
Come
the
on.
purveyor, as the person that's giving all of these blessings to all the other people under you. So that's what I pray for everybody, even for yourself, even for your associates, the people that you associate with daily. I'm like, I just pray that the people that are in your circle, in my circle, do not exalt themselves above, either they're and who obviously gives them the power and the gravitas and the success that they have, and that's through God. You know what I mean? That's important to remember because
Facts.
you can get braggadocious, you can get above yourself, you can get unattainable, you can get all of these things where people patting you on your back, and it becomes more about you and that dopamine that's driving the choices that you're making from all this. Oh, look at Chris, look at Chizzy, he's got a podcast, these guys are doing well. Nah, we gotta keep you always need to keep the right people around you. And I think you and I complement each other in that particular way. Because we're not gonna do enough anything goofy. It's always gonna be accountability.
Yeah.
Even if I don't go a week or two or however long and speaking to you, for a fact I'm be like, yo, bruh, like guys ain't caught up in a minute. Let's have this coming. Let's catch up. How's things? What's good? And of
Yeah.
course, it always circles back because I'm in Atlanta like every 2 to 3 months anyway. So we will always catch up anyway. So yeah, man, it's important to continue to eat that humble pie. That humble pie is sustenance that everybody needs. Keep it in your fridge, keep it in your pocket, take it in your gym bag, take it to
Come on,
work,
man.
take that humble pie with you everywhere you go. And every time you need a snack, when you feel like you're getting outside of yourself or bigger than yourself, take a bite of that humble pie, man. Because one way you'll get it whether you take it when you're in or God's going to give it to you. Because as fast as he can exalt you, it's as fast as he can take it away from you. So that's
Facts.
something I want to drive in as well.
Yeah, I was watching the New Edition movie, man, on BET, like just kind of went through it. And
That old boy, the one that came out about 5 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
I
okay.
love yeah, I love the story, man. I just love the
Yeah, that's right.
story. And what was crazy, Ralph really kind of highlights, his journey of like being the lead singer the whole time,
Mhm.
not really getting his just due. He never really did. And he kind of had a full circle moment where he was like, I had so much resentment in my heart because I was the lead singer. I felt
Yeah,
like I was getting my due. And I took for granted the value of the brotherhood, the value of you guys just being in my life, the value of you guys being on the journey. He was like, I'm looking at a technical thing where, okay, I sing in the booth the most. So because I sing in the booth the most, I deserve
type
my own tour, my own solo album. I deserve more money than all
more
of
money.
y'all. And I
Yeah,
just, but not realizing that every single day and every single tour and every single event, we're all doing these things. We're all doing the dance routines. We're all going over the reps. We're all doing the exercise. We're all doing that. But the booth, though, I was singing more vocals than y'all. So I
right.
deserve way more than the difference. He said it took me a long time to realize not only was there value in the brothers, but the assignment was bigger than me, and I never saw that until I became a man. He was like, when I was a boy, this whole time I'm singing, not realizing that part of my journey that would be recorded and be a movie. The movie wouldn't be about rap. The movie would be about New Edition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These five, six, five boys coming out the hood of Boston, out of the projects, to be a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah,
Like that's what it's about. We never seen five black boys from Boston, from the projects, become legendary group. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, oh, there's an opportunity for me to do me. There's
right.
an
It's like,
opportunity for me to get mine. There's an
yeah,
opportunity. And every time I tried to go that route, every time I put energy in that route, it never really worked. Like it always
right.
came back to like what's part of your life is going to be this group. And I think about where I'm at in life. It's like so much of your early young manhood is like trying to get mine, trying to do me, trying to make sure I get on the top, trying to make sure I overcome this, trying to make sure I get that, make sure I beat this and do that and accomplish this. But now at this stage of my career, bro, stage of my
Yeah,
life, Jizzy, it's like if my brothers can't have none, I don't want nothing apart about it because this life is lonely than most people realize. This life is challenging than most people realize. And to do it alone, or to do it by yourself, or to have it by yourself, it is not, it's
It
not a
won't work.
flex. It's
Yeah.
not like a vibe. It only really feels good if the community, the family, that we all could be a part of this thing. And so
Mhm.
another reason why we share Boy Man Kingdom, another reason why we share these conversations, another reason why we create these events, another reason why we make this investment in ourselves and to this platform is because we don't want to be the only ones having this conversation and having these resources. Like, we want as many people to go on this journey with us.
Create the new norm, man. Create the new norm. That's what we're endeavoring to do. Create the new norm, and the new norm is a flex for brothers to be brothers and to share their stories and share their pains and share their hearts around each other. And it's okay. And
Mm,
people actually want to do it. And the women actually like it because now they're seeing us in a different light. And the community is seeing us in a different light. And our
mm,
kids are seeing us in a different light. Because the reality is we have more things that we're in common about than we have that are different. And those vulnerabilities is really what matters because we all just want to see ourselves excel, our families thrive, our relationships thrive. But a lot of times we don't have the tools to make that happen. And as I
mm.
said earlier, those who have the tools have a responsibility.
Come on.
Have a responsibility. So
Yeah.
we're just blessed and happy to be able to be in that space.
So look, man, we're looking forward to what God has in store, man. Look out for what we got coming for our upcoming episode. Me and Chiz are going to be talking about the King Conference, man. Shout
Yes, sir.
out to our entire team, King Noel, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. Cardi
Um,
guy,
Ty the guy, Deani, what it do, my wife,
next level Nick.
you know what I mean? We just really appreciate everybody who plays a role and puts a hand toward building this platform for men and women to understand, the journey continues as men continue to evolve. We never arrive. And we just really want to say thank you to everybody
Thank
that just allowed us to even be the host and to be the I guess the captains of the ship to help drive this conversation. You
for
know what I
sure,
mean? It's
for
very
sure,
necessary. So
for
yeah, man, on
sure.
behalf of everybody on the Boy Man King team, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
You subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you
Check
show
us out.
up and watch the episode. It drops tomorrow, 12 noon, man, on our YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Go subscribe, go let everybody know the game they're going to get, man. But we're going to be talking about the incredible experience that we had at the King Conference, man. You're going to want to see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Chizzy,
sir.
what you got for the people?
Man, just continue to tap in, continue to stay humble, always strive to be better. And that's a decision you make every day when you wake up. Get a good morning routine, have a good
Mm.
have people that hold you accountable. Shout out to all our fathers, man. It was Father's Day last weekend. Shout out to all of our fathers. You know,
Big shout out.
big shout out, man. Fathers need to be celebrated, just like mothers need to be celebrated, but fathers need to be. The fact is, I believe Father's Day is the most uncelebrated holiday or event of the year. I believe that is a fact. So we're gonna make that shift. We're gonna change the tide and make Father's Day one of those pivotal, important dates on our calendar, not just for that particular day, but across the board. And that's what we're endeavoring to do, man. So keep locked in. The Boy Man King, Chizzy, you and the coach from the game plan. We're gonna make this thing happen, man. That's what's up.
I love it, man. Look, thank you guys again. We'll appreciate you. And as always, man, the journey continues.
Continues.
Y'all.
It's
Mhm.
good, bro.
Yeah,
Always
man.
good, bro.
Yeah, man. Got another 4 hours